Over the last couple of years, I've gotten quite a few questions about what type and brand of magnifying lamp I use. And I don't know, I got this one on Amazon. I just searched for magnifying lamp, and this one's quite inexpensive. I think the brand's name is Neuroclox. I'll put a link to either it or a similar one in the video description. I mean, it does its job. The main feature that I use is the light, the fact that I can move it around with a nice white light over my covers and stamps that I'm working with. But the magnifying piece is also pretty excellent. I can just keep it stable and use my tongs to move things in front of the magnifying glass and look at it. But I used to use a really flimsy plastic one, no name brand, and this one did not work out well at all. So it is worth investing a little bit more money into something that is stable and really does a great job. I do have a complaint, however, because the next time I get a magnifying lamp, the one key feature that I'll be looking for is a cover to cover the magnifying glass. Now, I currently use a cover for my headphones. I've repurposed it to be able to cover my magnifying glass and keep it bagged up, I guess, while I'm not working with it. The reason why this is so important is because I placed my desk right by a window. And during the winter especially, the sun comes right through the window at a particular angle that hits this magnifying glass. And this is a problem, especially when you have a wooden desk with dry pieces of paper and stamps lying around. So over the last couple of years, I have had a few accidents, and I have actually burnt my desk a few times. There are a couple of burns that kind of look like cigarette burns. I've also lost a few stamps that I've left on the table or covers, and the biggest thing I'm worried about is actually burning this house down, which is not too far of a stretch when you saw that reenactment. Yes, I know, if I was more responsible, I would be always closing my blinds or covering my magnifying glass, but I have a feeling that a few of you are like me and forget from time to time, which is why it is kind of a dangerous thing to have near wood and paper. That's something to keep in mind, because if I had a lid, I think it would be more natural for me to just close it every time. Anyway, this episode is about mail, because it's been almost 6 months since I did the last mail episode. So we have a lot to cover and a few quick announcements on this episode of #Philately. So a couple key dates to put in your calendar. Oh man! So a couple key dates to put into your calendar. Virtual Stampex is back. It's actually coming on the 4th to the 6th of May this year, 2023, and it's exciting because we haven't had a Virtual Stampex in over a year. It's an opportunity for all of you, regardless of where you live, to be part of a stamp show. The Virtual Stampex is, of course, run by the Philatelic Traders Society, the PTS, and they've already published this information on their website. I'll put links to the website as well as their social media so you can follow along and see all the updates as they are announced. From what I've been told, it's going to be a similar format, but there are several improvements to the platform, including the chat feature. There's going to be a roundtable feature, lots of presentations again, all the booths that you'll be able to visit, dealers, auction houses, influencers, and more, I'm sure. So check it out. Make sure you mark that date on your calendar. It's going to run 72 hours straight again, so you can log on from wherever you are in the world and connect with all of us, and I hope to see you there. The other thing that I want to tell you about is the Royal Philatelic Society of London will be having an exhibition in July this year that I am looking forward to attending. This exhibition is really cool. It's co-curated by Ian Knight as well as Alex Hyman. You'll remember Alex from the London 2022 video where he took us for an exploration of underground philately in London, as well as giving me that 1 penny coin from the 1840s. Now, I'm super excited about this because this is really a fascinating piece of history to explore postally and beyond, and that's what this exhibition is. It's an exploration of the Anglo-Zulu War, as well as the key battle of Isandlwana and Rorke's Drift, which has been portrayed in Zulu Dawn and Zulu the movies. And Alex and I sat down briefly to discuss a little bit about what to expect at this exhibition. This must have taken you a long time to put together, right?
It's been a 25-year-long journey for me, and this exhibition's been underway in planning for 8 years by the time it takes place.
Is that common for the Royal Philatelic Society or any philatelic society to go ahead and showcase items that go beyond postal ephemera, covers, stamps?
This is the first in its over 150-year history major museum exhibition that focuses on the postal as it radiates out and touches every other aspect of physical, historical, and cultural artifacts related to a story and narrative, in our case, Anglo-Zulu history and the Anglo-Zulu War of 1879. But it is a first of its kind for this long-standing society, which one may think of as just focusing on stamps and letters and envelopes. This is how philately and postal history can touch any field, and we're going to show that in a major way through this exhibition. The exhibition is open to the public from July 1st to July 31st, the entire month of July, Monday through Saturday from 9:30 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. It is free admission, so come and enjoy, take it in. We're going to have docents available to answer questions and guide guests and visitors through the exhibition. Any Exploring Stamps fan or YouTube channel subscriber that shows up at the exhibition, you see me here, find me, and I will have a very special commemorative item for you related to this exhibition to add to your collection. Now, like I said, I've been helping out with some of the videos, so I've put together a trailer video, a teaser trailer. You should check that out, as well as the full discussion that I had with Alex. If you're in London around that time, definitely put that on your calendar. I'll link the website as well as all those videos in the video description so that you can learn more. Now, let's get started with this mail. Okay, so first item to look at, I have to look at this item. This is some tin can mail from Germany, but not the tin can mail that we've discussed in the past. This is a tin of herring in tomato sauce. Now, the address is on the back with a German stamp, but as we can see, this is actually in an ambulance cover. This plastic cover was provided by Deutsche Post because the tin can got a bit of a ding on the one side here. So in this case, it's a bit of a bonus because it's not too badly damaged. So I'm also getting a German ambulance cover, which is, hey, pretty cool. Now, Fred actually reached out to me because they didn't want me to cut myself on this tin. So Fred was just warning me to open it very carefully. Now, Fred actually sent this while vacationing in the historic city of Wismar. And it was sent using a 2022 50-year anniversary of the World Environment Conference that took place in Stockholm. This, of course, has the data matrix on the right here. I'm assuming it's a letter inside here. Let's open it. Yep, so inside is this little card. It says, "Dear Graham, I do not know if you've received one of these little tins already." No, I haven't, Fred. But when I saw it, I thought you might enjoy it. Fun fact, even though it is quite small, I will have to get a stamp with the postage of €370, which is the fee for a large letter to be sent internationally. There were a lot of different motives, but I liked this herring tin the most. It's an old tin design with a price in DM, Deutsche Mark, Germany's old currency. I bought it in Wismar, a Hanseatic city on the Baltic Sea, when we visited my sister who lives around there. On the Baltic and the North Sea, one can buy many fun postal things as this kind of tin or even plastic bottles with a cork and a print on the front for a message in a bottle. This is such a novel idea, and usually you get these kinds of things in touristy areas, so always keep an eye out for fun opportunities to send something weird in the mail. Now, Fred went on to mention in the email
that there is a bit of a mystery with this tin because this particular manufacturer existed in East Germany up until 1990 when it closed during German reunification. However, the currency here is DM, the currency of West Germany. East Germany used the East German mark MDN. So either this is a mistake and they should have put MDN on this souvenir artwork, or were they actually marketing items for West Germany? Was this manufactured and traded with West Germany? In which case, have they made this particular label for Deutsche Mark, the West German currency? I don't know, because when I went online and looked up this company and tins, the only currency I could find was MDN, no DM. So any East-West German historians watching, please let us know your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious. Again, thank you, Fred. This is amazing. A great opportunity to share something fun on the channel. And I have no idea how I'm going to store this sharp piece of tin. I'll think of something. Let's move on now to this one from Australia. It's actually from Mourão, who has written to us before, the postmaster of the local post, the Bermagui local post. You can see these special Bermagui local post stamps again on the back with postmark. But Mourão has written asking us a question that I think we can help answer. Mourão writes, "Dear Graham, hope you and Laura are well. I'm writing to ask if you feel comfortable having the channel featured on the Bermagui local post stamp. Yes, of course, I'd be honored, thank you. I was wondering, what's going on with the symbols after the value on this Machin? It seems to have a 1 followed by some sort of inverted comma and then a tilde. Also, I've enclosed a rhino stamp for you. It's obviously a CTO based on its cancelled but mint condition. You can either add it to your collection or throw it in your box." Terrific, I'll actually add that to my collection. So your question is a good one. This Machin has a 1 plus what looks like an inverted comma and a tilde. What exactly is it? Well, this is a pre-decimal Machin, and that value is 1 shilling. That inverted comma is the symbol for shilling in this case, and the tilde means no pennies or pence. So I can point to a few resources that will be helpful, including a video by Richard Flatlist about Decimal Day, because Decimal Day was the day that the UK went from one system of currency to a different system, the system that we know today, which is a decimal system. Basically, 100 pennies or pence equals £1. It's nice and simple, but back in the day, it was quite awkward and complicated because it was, I think, 240 pennies or pence made £1, and in between there was shillings. So I think it was 12 pennies or pence to a shilling, and then 20 shillings to a pound. And yeah, like I said, it was awkward and complicated. So stamps dating back before Decimal Day will be in a different currency, and those stamps will be invalid. You won't be able to use those stamps because it's referring to a previous currency. The UK is not the only place. In fact, you're from Australia, you'll have this exact same thing that took place. There was the Australian pound instead of the Australian dollar as we know it today. And your Decimal Day was in the 1960s, I think. So let me see if I can find any. Okay, here we go. I found one. This Australian stamp from the 1950s shows 2 shilling. It's almost the same symbols too. You see the inverted comma, and instead of a tilde they have a dot, which also meant that nothing came after the shilling. If there's a number after that, that would be pence. But the symbol for shilling could either be written, it could be the word shilling, it could be an S, it could be a full slash, or in this case an inverted comma. It's really fun to look out for these, especially from stamps that were issued around that time of the currency change on Decimal Day, because you'll find stamps, the exact same stamp, just with 2 different currencies. Those are things to definitely look out for. The sad part about Decimal Day is that it invalidates all the postage stamps that were issued prior to that period of time. So the United States doesn't have this problem. The United States can use stamps from the early 1900s or late 1800s, in fact, instead of just being limited to stamps past a certain date, like the UK and Australia. And that brings up another point, because up until recently, you had to pay attention to the Machin's value, especially if you're a philatelist and you have a bunch of old stamps lying around and you intend on using some of them. The symbol for penny or pence back in the day, pre-decimal, was a D. Today, it is a P. So once it became decimal, they changed the symbol to a P. So if it's a D, you can't use it. If it's a P, that's current. So recently I posted an image of this block of Machins on Twitter. It's a block of 20 Machins and the value is really a halfpenny, or half of a penny, but a pre-decimal penny, as we can see with the letter D. And at the time I posted this, the deadline was approaching to use the last of your Machins before having to fully adopt to the data matrix Machins. So I had asked Royal Mail in the tweet, is it still valid to use these postage stamps? Sadly, they weren't that observant and replied that, yes, I could. I still had time to use these stamps, even though the deadline to use these particular Machins was over 50 years ago. So yeah, just a little philatelic gotcha. Anyway, I don't know if I explained that well, but like I said, I'll give you some extra links in the video description to check out. It is a fascinating area to explore, and keep a lookout for the Australia pre-decimal stamps. So, thank you, Myro. Look at that. All this talk on Machins, and right about the same time, they've just announced the replacement for the Machin. While I'm filming this on February 8th, they announce it. This is something we've been waiting in anticipation for several months now. The artist that designed the King's Head is Martin Jennings, so I guess this is the era of the Jennings replacing the Machin. The news is a bit too fresh for me to have an opinion, but some quick observations. They're using the same style as the Machin that's been used since the 1960s. King Charles III is, or doesn't have a crown, and that's been called out in the news, which isn't really unusual. Several stamps in the past haven't really portrayed a king with a crown, although many had a crown somewhere on the stamp. This has no crown anywhere on the stamp. Some people may like that. I mean, that might be symbolic. It's kind of downplaying the monarch role, maybe, but at the same time, it doesn't really distinguish them from any old politician that could be on a stamp. So there were bound to be mixed opinions on this. I could see some people not liking this because it's imitating the Machin, while others might like this because it's continuity. It's continuing that legacy. You know, what I liked about the Machin design is that Queen Elizabeth II's shoulders were included. It didn't look like she was beheaded. This is going for more of a classic look on just showing the neck up. All right, yeah, filming. Getting caught up with all this new exciting news. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Next up, I have a postcard from Australia that I wanted to just quickly look at. I actually got quite a few postcards from Australia and really elsewhere because of World Postcard Day. But this one is quite something. This is actually a maxi card. The postcard has the same image as the postage stamp, and that postage stamp is on the face side of the postcard, so the image side of the postcard. And it's cancelled with its special first day of issue cancel. Now, this is commemorating the 150-year anniversary of Overland Telegraph in Australia. And just briefly looking into this, this was quite an engineering feat. It was over 3,000 kilometers in distance for a wire to be strung across poles from North to South Australia. So totally a worthy achievement to commemorate on a postage stamp. And actually on the stamp, as well as on this postcard, is actually Morse code written out at the bottom, Overland Telegraph. Now, the person that sent me this, and I don't know who it is, used Morse code to write a message to me. And this has taken me a little longer than I thought it would, but I think it starts off saying, "Hi Graham, hope you like my Morse code themed postcard." That's it. I can't figure out the rest. There's no spaces in the letters, so I'm guessing where the letter is. I got close though. I got close. I'm glad the address wasn't written in Morse code, otherwise it would never have gotten here. So I'm going to guess, I'm going to make a guess here. This very last word might be the name of the person. Like maybe it is Kate. It's the only combination of dots and lines, or using those dots and lines with spaces I could come up with. So maybe that's Kate. If it is, thank you, Kate. This was fun. If it's not, I'm sorry. Whoever you are, thank you for this. It's been a fun challenge to try to figure out. Okay, next up we have an item from Jéssica in Brazil. Jéssica has sent some lovely stamps on this item, including these 200-year anniversary of independence, and also these neat stamps. These were issued in 2021, celebrating the diplomatic relationship between Brazil and the Dominican Republic. And so really this stamp just features a lot of Dominican Republic imagery, including the location, Bahia de las Águilas, there's the bird, which is the national bird of the Dominican Republic, the palm chat, and this particular rose, which I think is pronounced Bayahibe rose, all of which is Dominican imagery on a Brazilian stamp, but of course there's the two flags side by side. Anyway, this, like I said, is sent from Jéssica, and she sent a number of items. There we go. Some really cool literature to go through. It's always interesting seeing literature from other countries, how they discuss philately, what they get excited about in philately. Of course, there's a strong representation of their own postage stamps or the postage stamps of that region. So seeing South American stamps or just Brazilian stamps in general versus what I'm typically exposed to being more of, you know, the US, Canada, UK kind of stuff. She has even provided some wonderful stuff for Laura. So that's very thoughtful. Thank you. Love these beautiful stamps. There's a bookmark with the bullseye and a magnifying glass. So Jéssica writes, Bon dia Graham, bon dia Laura. Hello, my name is Jéssica, I live in Brazil and I love your videos. I invite you to visit my Instagram. Cool, I'll follow you. I'm sending some gifts for Laura and you. I hope these things bring you joy. They do. Thank you very much, Jéssica. Keep up this wonderful work and please share my address. I love receiving letters. Why not? It's a PO box. So I'm going to put that address in the video description. And my ask to you is please write to Jéssica. Send her a postcard or a letter right now. Make sure to use really cool stamps from your country and write telling her about yourself. Tell her about your interests. And let's just fill the PO box in São Paulo with postcards, letters, and stamps from all over the world. Several of you have probably not written to Brazil before, so this is an opportunity. So thank you very much, Jéssica. I hope you get some mail soon. And everyone watching, before today is over, make sure to write Jéssica a postcard in São Paulo, Brazil, and use some cool stamps. Thank you, Jéssica. Oh, and if this works, maybe we could do this again in the future. You know, put somebody else's PO box out there for a mail blast. But I'll need feedback from Jéssica to see if you guys actually sent us something. So we'll see. There's a postcard I want to talk about, but I can't find it again. No, that's not it. I think I lost it. Okay, while I'm looking for that one, I came across this lovely little letter from Andrew in Vietnam. Andrew is a regular viewer of this channel, and he sent me a Christmas card. Merry Christmas, Graham. Thanks for your content on stamps. Cheers, Andrew. He has an Instagram account, so check it out at only.stamps. P.S. Vietnam is the only country with the year of the cat instead of the rabbit. Now, we've just recently had the change from year of the tiger, which was my year, to the year of the rabbit. And of course, there's been some beautiful stamps that have been issued by countries around the world. Fascinatingly, Vietnam has a year of the cat instead of the rabbit. So apparently Vietnam and China, for instance, share most of the animals of the zodiac, except for two. One of which is year of the cat versus the rabbit, and the other is year of the buffalo instead of year of the ox. Now, it's not too far off. This cat and rabbit one is, though. So these are the stamps that have been issued by Vietnam for their version of Year of the Rabbit. So thank you, Andrew. And I saw another postcard here from Vietnam as well with a Year of the Cat. So if you're in Vietnam, happy Year of the Cat. And the rest of the world, happy Year of the Rabbit. All right, found it. So this postcard is from Mr. Bunker, who is a teacher, a third grade teacher in Utah. I think it's Utah because of the Salt Lake, Utah postmark here. But anyways, this postcard has a drawing from a third grader, I believe, on the card here. And he writes to me saying, Hello Graham, I want to send you a thank you. I learned about Postcrossing from you and joined in October of 2020. Initially I did it for the stamps, but quickly discovered the fun of connecting with others. I couldn't stop with just a personal account. I started a group account for my third graders, signed Mr. Bunker. So that is really great, Mr. Bunker. I'm glad that you're enjoying Postcrossing. I love Postcrossing, although I don't send nearly as many cards as I would like to. But I believe a lot of my viewers are indeed postcrossers. It's hard to not be a postcrosser. You get to see brand new stamps from around the world, really great postcards, as well as connecting with people, as you mentioned. So I bring this up because I know of a few other teachers that do this as well. My sister is a 5th grade teacher and she loves using postcrossing in her classroom. Maybe there are other teachers that are watching that may be inspired to incorporate this into their classrooms, because postcrossing is a great way to teach students about letter writing, postage stamps. It's an opportunity for math, to work out postage stamps for international rates, for example. It's an opportunity for lessons in geography. My sister actually has a giant wall map in the back of the classroom, and they pin the postcard with a piece of string to the actual location. Like Mr. Bunker, you can actually have blank postcards and have the students do their own artwork, so there's an art opportunity there as well. And I believe my sister actually has multiple accounts. She reached out to Postcrossing to be able to use the same address on multiple accounts so she can keep this continuously going. But she also pairs up the students, so the students have the opportunity to write on behalf of the class together in pairs, but then also get to work on a postcard as it arrives, figure out where it's from, and read out loud the messages for the students. But the one piece of advice that my sister provided is to just make sure you screen the messages that the students are writing as well as the messages that you receive, just so that there's nothing inappropriate. But other than that, this is a great opportunity for some classroom learning. So thank you for sharing, Mr. Bunker. I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad to see that you and your class are enjoying postcrossing. Check out these postcards. There's a number of postcards sent to me from Isan, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And I don't think I get any mail. I might have gotten 1 or 2 items from Iran in the past, but here I have several postcards from Iran. I actually don't think Iran has YouTube, but I could be wrong. Correct me, please. But these are beautiful postcards, and they bear incredible stamps. Some very interesting stamps, some very beautiful stamps, and some very propaganda stamps. So let's take a look at these. I love this nationalization of the post company. This is an epic firefighter one. Wow. No, I approve. These are beautiful. Thank you. And there's one postcard that is very interesting and really cool to see that it made it all the way here. This has propaganda stamps from the 1980s. 3 of these are about the takeover of US den of espionage. You can see the CIA symbol being cracked in half. All these top secret documents in the background. This one has a fist, probably the US embassy. Here's the US flag with the stars falling out and a crack through the US Capitol. Wow. This one from 1980 shows failure of US military aggression against Iran. I'm not exactly sure what it's portraying. I see a helicopter in the background. And then there's this quite graphic one from 1983 featuring the United Nations hand coming out and being cut off with a sword. Each finger is portraying the US, UK, USSR, maybe France and China, I'm not sure. Quite a heavy messaged postcard. But what is interesting is then it's all beautifully balanced out here. With the saffron flower stamp. Saffron is a key export of Iran, a key spice. And then this hourglass with an @ symbol portraying mail slowly giving way to the digital era, I suppose, World Post Day of 2018. This is incredible. I'm totally putting this straight into my collection. I always get excited when I see messaging, especially heavy-handed propaganda messaging on postage stamps and actually being used to send it to me. That's great. It made it through the postal system. I saw that you left me your address on one of the postcards, so I will reply to you and see if that makes it from here, the US to Iran. Thank you very much. Okay, I have a couple of items from Canada I would like to explore. This first one is from Sarah, who has written to the channel before, but I actually met at Capex. She helped us out while exploring the one-frame exhibit. And she has sent a couple of cool items, one of which is a set of first day covers for the group of 7 stamps that were issued. The group of 7 were 7 famous Canadian landscape artists, and each of the stamps that were issued featured one of their artworks. So each of these covers has an image of the artist, whilst the stamp portraying their artwork. Very cool. Thank you, Sarah. She also gave me a, here it is. She also gave me a Christmas ornament, this one featuring a Canada 5-cent stamp with a beaver on it. That's really neat. And what I think is really special is this item right here. It's actually 2 postage stamps featuring photographs. These are customized Canadian stamps. One has an image of Sarah with this incredible background, and the other is a picture of myself as well as Sarah and Laura at Capex. Wow. So, hey, I'm on a postage stamp, and she wrote, "I hope that you enjoy the picture postage stamp that I included. I managed to order them before Canada Post cancelled the program in September. You are officially on Canadian postage." That is really neat. Now, I went to the Canadian Post website and saw that the link was still there to go ahead and make your own custom stamps. But then when I clicked on it, I got a page that said the program was discontinued, just as Sarah said. And it's a bit disappointing that this program is discontinued because I can see the fun of it, especially if there is an event that you need to create invitations for. That would be a real useful application for these types of custom stamps. So thank you, Sarah, for putting us all on a postage stamp. I can't wait to show Laura. She's going to love it. And this is something that I'll absolutely treasure. Now, there's another Canadian item I want to show you from somebody else that I met at Capex. This is a very cool parcel. Look at the stamps that are on it. These are vintage Carousel stamps that were issued last year in Canada. There's 5 of them, and each stamp portrays a different mount or animal from an actual carousel in Canada. You can actually see the location of the carousel in which each of these mounts came from at the bottom of the stamps. Now, they're shaped in a way that allowed them to come in a formed circle, except on this parcel, they've been placed in this nice squiggly road or snake, taking up the entire front space of the parcel, and of course allowing the postmark cancellation to be placed all the way through it. 13 to be exact. Actually, there's a 14th one with some additional postage at the bottom here. So this parcel acted as a canvas to provide us with a beautiful presentation of these vintage Carousel stamps. Now, this is from Chris and Eden, and I met Chris and Eden. They actually wrote to this channel a few times before, but I met Chris and Eden at Capex as well. They actually had replica Exploring Stamps stock books, which caught me by surprise and was very exciting to see. And they're definitely 2 of my favorite Canadian philatelists. Now, the box that was in the parcel actually has really nothing in it, just space fillers, little paper bags, I guess. And that's because this isn't the item that they were sending me. The item really is this beautiful parcel wrapper. Now, they did have a letter and a few other items to just go along with this. Firstly, this is written by Eden. He writes, "Dear Graham, my Uncle Chris and I really like these Carousel stamps, so do I. We decided to do extreme philately with these stamps. We are sending you a picture of me on the carousel from the stamps with the lion. The carousel costs 5 cents a ride. We thought you would really enjoy how you can connect these stamps to make a squiggle. That's why we're sending you this unnecessary large box so we can make the design." Exactly. It's wonderful. And as he said, check this out. So here's a picture of Eden sitting on the actual lion that is featured on the postage stamp. It's on the red stamp, and it's from Lakeside Park in Ontario. They sent me a actual booklet. So the booklet came with 10 stamps, 2 circles, each, and this is quite something, because this is indeed extreme philately. Here, Eden is actually riding the postage stamp, and he's pointing to the line stamp that he's actually sitting on. Very well done. That has to go down as one of the coolest extreme philately pictures I've seen. Here's an actual pamphlet from the Lakeside Park Carousel. I can't believe it's 5 cents. Really? 5 cents a ride? Thank you both, Chris and Eden. I mean, these stamps were really well received. At least I think they were on the online community. Quite a lot of folks were eager to get their hands on some of these. And not only do I have now a nice booklet of them, but I think I have something even better, and that is this beautiful parcel wrapper with all the stamps. Now, you've given me a bit of a challenge that I think we should try and address, and that is, how do you store, preserve, and possibly even display something quite like this? This takes up a lot of space, as you can see. In my little room and my philatelic collection, everything is really 2D, or the majority of the items are 2D pieces of paper or covers. But in philately, it is quite common to present parcel wrappers in exhibits in what is called a parcel front. Instead of folding it or really trying to keep it whole, philatelists will go ahead and cut the front part of a parcel that consists of all the stamps and postal markings that allowed it to go through the postal journey. If you think about it, it's not really necessary to keep the whole wrapper unless those markings and those stamps made their way around the whole thing. In this case, what Chris and Eden have done very well is managed to keep the entire set of stamps on one side of the wrapper. I'm actually got a little bit of fold here with some additional labels that can make it into this parcel front, but the entirety of it is on one side, which allows me to now go ahead and cut it and preserve all of the essential components of this postal item. So let's do that right now. Okay, there it is. This is a parcel front. It's got everything that I wanted to preserve. I gave it a little bit of extra space around each side, so those margins. And I'm going to place this in something that can keep it flat. I actually have this homemade portfolio binder that is just basically 2 big pieces of cardboard brought together with some string on the side here. But yeah, this is what I keep things like this, a parcel front, and of course you could line it with archive-safe paper or place archive-safe paper on either side of the items that you place in there. Slide it in. So that is that, a wonderful item into the collection. Alright, what's next? Actually, almost forgot, I have another big box here, but in the big box is a wonderful picture frame I'm going to open up right now. This is from Larry in California. Larry writes articles for Linz. He's published a lot of great articles that I have read over the last several years. And the first time I met Larry was at the Columbus, Ohio Stamp Show, and I met him again at the Sacramento Stamp Show. He's gifted me this beautiful framed chest of Slania stamps with proof prints. So this is amazing. This has a color proof, 1 of 8,000, a monochrome proof, and then the actual stamps from Sweden. These were issued in 1991, a set of 3 of Gustav III's crowning. And Czesław Slania, we've discussed him a few times on this show. A master engraver, one of the best, if not the best, that the world has ever seen. Really a legend in this art form. So this is very special because it's got a photograph of him with an autograph and 2 of the proof prints, both a color one and a monochrome, and then the actual stamps themselves. And it's beautifully presented in a frame that I can hang up somewhere in this room when I get a chance. Now, stamps make beautiful artwork that can be hung on walls. And of course, I use, canvas prints all across the room here. But stamps as themselves can also be framed, as in this case, and hung on a wall in your home or your office. And so I want to ask everyone out there if there is anyone else that is doing this kind of thing, actually framing stamps, stamps that are important to you or mean a lot to you or part of your collection, and hanging them on your wall. You can present them in a manner such as this, that has photographs, autographs, or other memorabilia, or you could just present the stamps by themselves. I know of one member of the online philatelic community who's also a member of the comic book community and the Transformers community. Yoshi has got excited about the Transformers stamps that were issued by the UK last year. And he went ahead and got some of the framed artwork from the Royal Mail, but he also took the individual stamps and placed them in like little plexiglass holders, the kind you usually see for baseball cards, making a very presentable and cool thing to hang on your wall. You're actually displaying stamps for people to see and talk about, and I love this idea. So thank you, Larry, for sending this to me. It'll find a nice home on one of my walls. And if anybody else is doing this, such as the way Larry has presented these stamps, or the way Yoshi has presented his stamps, or any other way between, let me know. I'm curious to find out how stamps are being displayed on people's walls. Okay, this is a fun one. This is from Doug in Massachusetts, and he writes, "Greetings from Amherst, Massachusetts. After watching your YouTube video on Lucy the Elephant, it inspired me to tie in the USPS elephant stamp that was issued on August 12th. I had more fun creating this cachet than you can imagine. I started by researching the Lucy the Elephant sites that could be used in creating a drawing for the cachet. I came up with the idea of having my wife Joanne and I do a virtual visit of the site by asking my artist Peter Watko to draw the elephant on site and include us in the foreground in the drawing. I hope that you and Laura enjoy the first day covers." This is great. So that episode was the Atlantic City postcard episode, and at the end of that episode we went to Lucy the Elephant. But Lucy the Elephant was under construction for us, so it was kind of disappointing when we got there and found a big box with scaffolding around it. So Doug has gone ahead and produced these very professional looking, wow, first day covers. Yeah, these are really good. From the first day of August 12th, when the USPS issued these beautiful elephant stamps. You can see there's Doug and Joanne standing in front of Lucy. This is very well done. Congrats to you, Doug, and Joanne, as well as the artist, for getting these beautiful first day covers featuring Lucy the Elephant. And I promise that once the restoration project for Lucy is complete, I and Laura need to go down there and redo that scene where we wanted to do some extreme philately and extreme deltiology with it. I now have stamps that I can do extreme philately with, these elephant stamps that were issued in August. And I just have to say one other thing here, is that I really like what the USPS has done with some recent issues. These stamps are fun and playful, showing an elephant interacting with its young calf. And along those lines, I was also very happy with the Christmas time stamps, the holiday season stamps, featuring elves. Another fun and playful set of stamps. The series is called Holiday Elves, and perhaps it's the playfulness of the stamps that really attracted me to them. To me, holiday stamps could be either a hit or a miss, really depends on the person. But these, I feel, could be used and enjoyed by everyone. Now, what just made these stamps even better is how the spray cancellation was paired up nicely with the stamp. So the USPS, and I have a couple examples here that really excited me. The USPS made a spray cancellation that also featured an elf during this time. So it paired nicely with the stamp. The elf was about the same size as the elf on the stamp. Here is an elf building a snowman, so this could almost be in the background of this conveyor belt scene. There were a few others, but this one was my favorite, featuring an elf actually throwing a snowball at the elf on the stamp. And what you're looking at is really the moment of impact before the elf that is sewing this teddy bear feels the ice-cold snowball hit the back of his neck. It's mischievous, it's clever, it's cute. It was very well executed. So props to the USPS. I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but thank you very much, Doug. Again, the elephant stamps came out really well, but your covers are excellent. Very well done. This is becoming a very long video, and that's not my fault. That is your fault for sending me all this mail. So, 2 more items. Just 2 more. Okay, this is a plantagram. Okay, this is from William. He writes, "Greetings, hello from St. Louis. I was excited to discover your channel. I've been collecting since I was 12. I would like to see more life in this hobby. It's a treasure trove of history and little pieces of art. I hope you like this plantagram." William, it is indeed a treasure trove of history and art and so much more. Now, this plantagram, so it's a seed paper. The company is actually called Plantagram, or no, this is a plantagram by Bloomin' Flower Cards and was custom designed for the United States Postal Service. It's very cool, and apparently the instructions are to tear up the seeded paper and spread it out over a 1/4 inch of loose soil. For best results, plant outdoors in the late fall or early spring. Okay, so I am terrible with plants. I kill them, and I don't intend to kill them. I just don't have a good reputation with keeping plants alive. That one there, that's fake. If a plant is going to survive in my life, it needs to be fake. In fact, I have a good philatelic example for you. So I had tried to plant the Jersey stamps from 2014. If you'll know, Jersey issued a set of stamps that had poppy seeds on them. And this was in 2014, back when they were commemorating the First World War, the 100th anniversary of the First World War. Now, the idea of these stamps is really great because they were raising money for military and veteran charities. But then you could also repurpose them after receiving them in the mail on actual letters to go ahead and plant them. And they would be a poppy plant, right? A poppy flower, the symbol of remembrance for that First World War. Now, 4 or so years ago, I actually purchased some of these stamps and I went ahead and spoke about them on camera and eagerly planted them so that I can grow flowers from stamps. There's a reason why you never ever saw this footage, and that's because I completely failed. The only thing that I was able to achieve was disintegrate paper postage stamps in soil. But you know what? I will give it another go. I will plant these in a month, a few weeks from now, and if you never see them again, if you never see me give you an update on that, it means I failed again. But maybe you will see something. Who knows? All right, last item. This one is from the wonderful nation of Edristan. You don't know the nation of Edristan? Huh. Well, you should, because it is a micronation issuing amazing stamps. Now, this letter comes from Nils, and he wrote, "Hello, Graham. We found that you haven't really talked a lot about micronational philately, or stamps and philatelic items issued by micronations, so we want to change that." That is true, I really haven't touched micronations. Included in this letter are some stamps from the micronation of Edristan, a state proclaimed initially out of boredom and satirical reasons. The sheet contains every type of stamp Edristan has issued since its foundation about 2 years ago. It also contains one stamp from another German micronation, the Federation States of Musograd, which was founded by a Berlin-based artist. What do you think of micronations, unrecognized self-declared nations, not to be mistaken for separatist states like Transnistria? Yeah, as Nils mentions, micronations are really fascinating. They're usually created for satirical purposes or to make a political point. Think of the Principality of Sealand or the Republic of Rhode Island, all really interesting entities that very quickly create postage stamps declaring that they have a separate entity. Postage stamps are perfect for this because they basically are placed on mail and sent around the world. Now, yes, of course, the postage stamps will not be accepted by members of the UPU, the Universal Postal Union, including wherever it is that you created your micronation. Well, this is Edristan. Now, Edristan is actually located within Germany. So we have a Deutschland stamp allowing this to travel internationally. But here are the stamps of Edristan with Edristan's actual postmarks. And Nils sent a couple of rubles. Oh, this is a 5 ruble. This is a 1 in ruble. These are nice. So this micronation has a currency as well as postage stamps. They've given me printed money as well as some postage stamps. So let's actually look them up. There's a website called Micronations Wiki. And there's the People's Republic of Edristan, a micronation in southwestern Germany. It was founded on the 22nd of January 2021 by current President Nils. Oh, Nils. Hey, I've never received mail from a president before, a president of a micronation before, so thank you, President Nils. This is such an honor. Okay, so it goes on to say that it was created for satirical reasons, but according to the Edristani government, also to make a positive impact on the nearby area by remembering local history and contributing to charity and local projects. The nation is a socialist democracy. And there's a section here about postal services, stamps, and commemoratives. The People's Republic of Edristan has relatively active postal service. It regularly issues postage stamps. Stamps can actually be used to ship letters and parcels within Edristan, but also internationally. For the latter option, however, the EPS adds German postage stamps to the letters, like this one. The motives of these stamps include fish and later on local art and famous figures of the nation and the surrounding area. As the part of the stamp series featuring important national figures, for the first time ever, a stamp featuring an acting or former leader of Edristan was issued. This at the time was somewhat controversial, as the person depicted on the stamp, namely Nils, was still in office. Critics interpret this as a totalitarian move and accused the president of establishing a personality cult and influencing or flawing the nation's democracy. So President Nils sent this, and he used these controversial stamps. 2 stamps of himself in his presidential military gear. Very cool. This is really great. Thank you very much, Nils, or President Nils. I really appreciate the letter as well as these stamps and the opportunity to talk about micronations. Now, thank you all for watching. That has to bring us to the end of this episode because it's a long one. And like I always say, I read everything that gets sent to me. I try and reply to as many as possible, but I can't possibly put them all in an episode. Unfortunately, there's just so many. So thank you for sending me mail, for keeping this channel as fun and exciting as it is, and of course, for keeping the philatelic conversation energized online. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed. Of course, a quick reminder to go ahead and send Jéssica that postcard or letter. As always, thank you for watching, and happy exploring.